So Gene Hackman was found dead with his wife and a dog. His dog, his wife, Gene Hackman were all found dead in the northeast part of Santa Fe. In the northeast part of Santa Fe is where Gene Hackman lived. And the sheriff of Santa Fe, he had said that there's no foul play, there was no foul play, and that there was no danger to the public. So therefore, nobody did anything to each other, and nobody from the outside did anything. So I immediately thought that it was carbon monoxide. And I got a couple articles here to see, what is actually going on. One article suggests that it could be pills. So let's see what these new articles are saying. Okay, so here's a New York Post. Gene Hackman's daughter suspects he and wife died of carbon monoxide poisoning. The daughter of beloved actor Gene Hackman says he and his wife, classical pianist Betsy Arakawa, most likely died from carbon monoxide poisoning, while authorities said they found no signs of a carbon monoxide leak. They found no signs of a carbon monoxide leak. That's interesting. Elizabeth Jean Hackman told TMZ the family suspects her 95-year-old father, his 65-year-old wife, and one of their dogs, so they had two dogs, one dog lived, died from toxic fumes inside their Santa Fe, New Mexico home. But authorities later said that the deaths were suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. Now they're saying that it's suspicious. Before they said no foul play, no danger to the public. Now it's suspicious. They found an unsecured and open door to the home and a prescription pill bottle and pills scattered around the room where Arakawa and one of the couple's dogs were discovered, according to an affidavit. What does that mean? They found an unsecured and open door to the home. So there was a door that was just flapping open, and then there was a prescription pill bottle and pills scattered around the room. Pills scattered around the room. I don't know what that exactly means, One person did something and then the other person said to hell with it. Could this be a murder-suicide? Let's keep on going. Fire department officials found no evidence of a toxic leak in the home. A maintenance worker who initially raised the alarm when he got no response from inside the home said he hadn't seen the couple in about 2 weeks. According to the court documents, Arakawa's body was found mummified and bloated. Mummified? What are you saying to me? Mummified and bloated. Like she had been dead for a couple days and mummified. Like Gene Hackman wrapped a bunch of stuff around her body? And then why would one of the dogs be dead and then not the other one? So I'm looking at a picture of his house. Nice, big, spacious house, Nice, big, spacious house out in the New Mexico. While there were no signs of visible trauma, somebody had suggested somehow this had to do with Epstein. Didn't Epstein own some New Mexico property? While there were no signs of visible trauma, Sheriff Aiden Mendoza said that they could have been victims of a double homicide, suicide, accidental death, or natural causes. Well, that's pretty much all the options that are, it's either natural causes, accidental, suicide, or maybe a double homicide. 2 living dogs were found on the property, one inside the home and one outside the home. Forensic expert Fox News contributor Michael Baden said the couple's deaths were typical for carbon monoxide poisoning. When a car motor engine is left on, it's not properly turned off, carbon monoxide comes out of the exhaust and goes into the house. Dogs or any other type of animal and humans die. They don't feel any type of pain. They don't know anything's wrong. It's silent. Carbon monoxide is just a lack of oxygen. It's painless and they just go to sleep. Baden noted that this could also happen from a boiler malfunctioning and producing carbon monoxide. The couple, who were married for over 30 years, they got married in 1991, had been living in their Santa Fe home since Hackman's retirement from acting in the early 2000s. After their bodies were found, authorities applied for a warrant to conduct a search, called in the fire department and gas company to ensure the house was safe to search. Okay, so that's one. Forbes.com. Actor Gene Hackman and his wife found dead with pills scattered nearby. Actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa found dead in their New Mexico home, local law enforcement said Thursday, as officials who referred to their deaths as suspicious reported finding Arakawa with pills scattered on a nearby counter. A German Shepherd. One of their dogs was a German Shepherd, Hackman 95, Arakawa 64. They were found dead when police entered their home for a welfare check at about 1:45 p.m. local time on Wednesday. So that was February 26, 2025. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Denise Womack Avila told Forbes no one else is inside the home. No foul play is suspected. Deputies were sent to Hackman's home just outside of Santa Fe after a concerned neighbor called about the couple. The Sheriff's Office told local TV affiliate KOB. Aiden Mendoza told the New York Times an associate of Hackman and his family placed an emergency call after they discovered their bodies. So an associate, somebody came across Hackman. Well, who is that person? 2 alive dogs were also found within the home. Hackman was found on the floor in the home's mudroom, a space where shoes are left before entering a house, while Arakawa was found lying on her side in a bathroom where unspecified pills were scattered on a nearby counter by an opened prescription bottle, according to ABC News, citing a search warrant affidavit. You know, let's try to be as generous as we can to these folks. I just thought of an idea. Maybe Gene Hackman, he's an old man, has a heart attack, and he dies in the mudroom, right? That's where you walk in the door and you put the muddy shoes, right there. So he walks in the door, has a heart attack, falls and dies, and just like Romeo and Juliet, she can't be without her man. She can't be without her man, goes into the bathroom, pops some pills, and then that's it. That's me being generous because it was done out of love, it was done out of love. Actually, the most generous would be carbon monoxide, right? Just a complete accident. Details about how Hackman and Arakawa died were not disclosed, but the search warrant affidavit reportedly said that their deaths were suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation. Because of circumstances surrounding the scene, Elizabeth Jean Hackman, Hackman's daughter, told TMZ she thought it was carbon monoxide poisoning. The Santa Fe City Fire Department and New Mexico Gas Company found no signs of carbon monoxide leaks within the home. ABC News reports if the door was wide open, then, maybe they died of carbon monoxide, and then he goes to the door to try to open the door to get a breath of fresh air, and then just succumbs to. They also said Hackman appeared to have fallen suddenly, and both he and Arakawa, whose body showed signs of decomposition, showed obvious signs of death. So, how long have they been dead, How long have they been dead? And couldn't you determine that one had died before the other one, in their ways to determine, how long? Let's see here. Then some other information about the acting career. Let's take a look at TMZ. Deaths called suspicious. Oh, there's a headline, huh? According to a search warrant obtained by TMZ, Santa Fe detective who saw the search warrant wrote in his affidavit that he believes that the death of the 2 deceased individuals to be suspicious enough in nature to require a thorough search and investigation because the reporting party found the front door of the residence unsecured and open. Now that's interesting. That could actually be the most generous. A double homicide. He did get into it with one of his neighbors, or he had a friend. I just read some report about how he was paying some guy money. He was helping him out. And then eventually the guy says, hey, I want some more money. And then the guy says, to hell with you. And he hits him. And, Gene Hackman, I know he can play the bad guy on screen, but I think that he seems like he's the everyman good guy, right? He's like an everyman good guy. He's like a regular person that went to Hollywood who made it. Deputies observed a healthy dog running loose on the property. Other healthy dog near the deceased female. Deceased dog laying 10 to 15 feet from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom. The heater being moved the pill bottle being opened and pills scattered next to the female, the male decedent being located in a separate room of the residence and no obvious signs of a glass leak. The heater being moved. Why is the dog in the closet? Why is the dog in the closet? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the dog got into the pills, and since the dog got into the pills and it had died, that was just too much for Gene and Arakawa, and then they just said, they called it kaputs. Gene's wife, Betsy Arakawa, was found in the bathroom on the ground near the countertop, lying on her right side. Deputies saw a black space heater near her head. The deputy believed that the heater could have fallen in the event Betsy abruptly fell to the ground. Or maybe the heater was on and she was, sleeping in the bathroom. And then that's why the carbon monoxide poisoning. Why is the dog in the closet? Is that just where they put it? They got a big ass fucking, house. Why couldn't the dogs just run freely outside? Why wouldn't they have like all the frills of dog ownership, have a little electric collar, each dog probably could have its own room. The deputy also noticed an orange prescription bottle on what pills are we talking about? Are these pills that could lead to death? Because sometimes you just have like bullshit pills, right? Just here's some bullshit pills. And then there was an aspirin bottle. I guess in it, could you technically overdose on aspirin? Which was open with, what about vitamins? Which was open with pills scattered on the countertop. It appears that she had been dead for some time because the body was in a state of decomposition with bloating in her face and mummification in her hands and feet. When we say mummification, what exactly is mummification? The meaning of the word. Mummification, directly means the process of preserving a dead body through embalming and drying. The body was embalmed and purified. The brain was removed, not preserved. The internal organs were removed, preserved in jars. The body was dried with salt, treated with oils and resins. The body was stuffed and wrapped in bandages. Amulets were added. The body was decorated. The reason why the Egyptians believed that mummification, the reason why Egyptians believed in mummification, because it allowed the spirit of the deceased to continue its journey in the afterlife. They believed that if the body was destroyed, the spirit might be lost. You also have the spirit cave mummies in Fallon, Nevada, are over 9,400 years old. What? Spirit cave mummies. Where is Spirit Cave at? Where is Spirit Cave? It's high up in the desert hills north of Grimes Point, some 75 miles east of Reno. Millennia ago, the cave looked out over a rich wetland, a remnant of prehistoric Lake Lahontan. Where is the Spirit Cave mummy now? Analysis of the remains showed similarities to North and South American indigenous peoples, and in 2016, the remains were repatriated to the Fallon Paiute Shoshone tribe of Nevada. The Spirit Cave mummy was one of the first to be dated using accelerated mass spectrometer radiocarbon dating. Do we want to keep on? What is this Spirit Cave mummy? I've never even heard about this Spirit Cave mummy. 9,600 years ago, so that means, is this entire land the Native Americans? Did the Europeans, did they do something to the Native Americans? Okay, so you got People here. People magazine, USA Today, and Parade. And then we're going to have to call it quits, okay? We've investigated this enough. To me, it looks like, I thought at first, I don't know what the hell it could be. I have no idea what it could be, but just to re-update, okay, it looks like I thought that it was a carbon monoxide poisoning. Then they're saying that there was pills found nearby her body. He's found in the mudroom. She's found in the bathroom. The dog's dead in the closet. And the door was wide open, so this could be, according to Aiden Mendoza, he says, well, it's either a homicide, or it's a suicide, or maybe it was an accident, or natural causes. Those are all the options. That's like all four options that it could be. So we're just playing game theory at the time. So I guess in a way that sort of breaks it down, right? You got four options: natural causes, accident, suicide, homicide. Okay? So where they say that there is no danger to the public, if it's homicide, if somebody came in and, a double homicide, well, then there is a danger to the public. They shouldn't say things that aren't true. The actor and his wife were found dead in their Santa Fe home February 26. Arakawa's body had signs of mummification. I want to know the name of the dog. There's two German Shepherds, or there's two dogs that were alive. They found one outside, one inside, but there was one dog that was dead in a closet. There was also a heater. They found pills next to Arakawa's body and a heater. I guess some sort of space heater. Couldn't a space heater, destroy all the oxygen in a house, in a room? And then it's also possible that it could be like just some brilliant sort of, double homicide where they made it look like a suicide. I've seen like movies that do that. Arakawa showed obvious signs of death, body decomposition, bloating in her face, mummification in both hands and feet. Hackman, 95, was found dead in a mudroom. Per the search warrant, Arakawa, 64, was found dead in a bathroom with a space heater nearby. Deceased German Shepherd was found about 10 to 15 feet away from Arakawa. Per the outlet, while the two other healthy dogs were found on the property. It's suspicious. They're doing a search and investigation. The residence is on Old Sunset Trail in Santa Fe. They were called out there, the police, 1:45 p.m. Who was the one that called this in? They said some associate had called them in when they discovered their dead bodies, where Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, and a dog were found deceased. Denise Womack Avila said in a statement, she added that foul play is not suspected as a factor in those deaths at this time. However, the exact cause of death has not been determined. The sheriff's office told TMZ the French Connection star and his wife's bodies had been in their home for at least a day before deputies found them deceased. There's an active and ongoing investigation. They were married in 1991. Let's see. I didn't finish the TMZ. Gene was found in a separate room off the kitchen. He was fully clothed, and they suspected he may have suddenly fallen because his sunglasses were found next to his body. The fire department came and advised that they did not see any signs of carbon monoxide leak or poisoning. If the door was open, okay. The New Mexico Gas Company came to the residence, conducted testing on the gas lines and around the house. In and around the house. As of now, there are no signs of evidence indicating that there are any problems associated to the pipes in and around the residence. I mean, it could be the space heater, right? If you're just in an enclosed room and the space heater burns up all that oxygen. The deceased dog, a German Shepherd, was found 10 to 15 feet from Betsy in the closet of the bathroom. Two other dogs were found alive and healthy. The bodies were discovered by two maintenance workers. Two maintenance workers. I thought it was just an associate who said they hadn't seen them in approximately 2 weeks. So Gene Hackman's been dead for maybe 2 weeks. The maintenance workers arrived to discover the bodies. The front door was ajar, but the deputy says there were no signs of forced entry. That's the only time when a door is not a door. When it's ajar. And this door was ajar. TMZ has obtained the audio of the 911 call that led to police discovering the bodies of Hackman and Arakawa. Oh, the audio. Do we want to listen to the audio? Emotional caretaker pleads in 911 audio. 911 audio. The caretaker, whose name is redacted, saying he believes that they've just stumbled across one or two dead bodies. He seems unsure at the time of the call, and they need immediate assistance. It looks like they're dead, and they've been dead for 2 weeks, but I don't know for sure. While the dispatcher puts out a call for paramedics, the caller repeatedly says, "damn," into the phone while sniffling away tears. He's then asked a series of questions about the patients as the dispatcher calls them, many of which he doesn't seem to have the answer to, including their ages and genders. However, the caller does say he can't see anyone moving inside the house. He's not in the house with them, but outside looking through a window with no way of getting in. No way of getting in, then how's the door open and unsecure? As you know, Gene and his wife were found dead in their home Wednesday afternoon. Though the sheriff's office didn't announce their deaths until later in the evening, Santa Fe detectives applied for a search warrant. Suspicious enough. Healthy dog on the property. a deceased dog 10 to 15 feet away from the deceased female in a closet of the bathroom, the heater being moved, the pill bottle being opened, pills scattered next to the female, the male decedent being located in a separate room of the residence, no obvious signs of a gas leak. Pills were strewn about. It could have been a gas leak if they've been dead for 2 weeks. It could have been a gas leak. Somebody opens the door and now all the gas is, gone. It could have been, a propane tank, a loose propane tank. And I think that the space heater could have done something too. Pills were strewn about the counter in a space heater. Maybe she overdosed, or maybe somebody, did something to her and then just sprinkled pills on her. You don't know. Hackman was found nearby and appears, but there is an objective truth. There is an objective truth. Something definitely happened to them. And before anybody, goes to conclusions, you need to know the truth before. You can't get objective justice unless you have objective truth. Gene Hackman's daughter reveals what she believes led to her father's unexpected death. She thought it was carbon monoxide. This is from Parade.com. He was using a cane as a mobility aid a year ago. Not only is there Elizabeth Hackman, but you also got son Christopher Hackman and a younger daughter Leslie Hackman, and he and Arakawa did not share any kids as the family is actively getting their affairs in order. Details for a memorial service have not been finalized yet. Elizabeth and Leslie, along with their granddaughter Annie, issued a statement to Parade, writing, "It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our father, Gene Hackman, and his wife, Betsy. He was loved and admired by millions." All right, so last one, USA Today. What do you all think? What do you all think, huh? Let's check out USA Today. I mean, it could either be natural causes, an accident, a suicide, or a homicide. Either a homicide from the outside or a homicide from the inside. Grim details emerge in a search warrant. Gene Hackman and his wife Betty Arakawa's death at their New Mexico home Wednesday are being described as suspicious. Detective Roy Arndit says that the couple were found in 2 different rooms in their sprawling Santa Fe home. They got a huge house where the 2-time Oscar winner 95 were treated for a low-key life after leaving Hollywood. Authorities found the actor in a mudroom near his cane, appearing to have fallen, while wife Arakawa, 64, was found in an open bathroom near a space heater, according to the warrant. An open prescription bottle and pills were scattered on the nearby countertop. The warrant says the deputy observed Arakawa with body decomposition, bloating in her face, and mummification of her hands and feet. So they're just saying that her hands and feet were dried out because apparently they had been dead for 2 weeks, and that's crazy. A superstar could be dead for 2 weeks without nobody being none the wiser. He's got 3 kids. Do the 3 kids not check in on, Daddy Dearest? And then there's 3 dogs, right? So wouldn't one dog, oh man, if they had been dead for 2 weeks, I wonder if the one dog was just stuck in a closet for 2 weeks. Is that enough of a time to die of starvation? 2 weeks? Yeah, probably, right? And I wish I knew the name of the dogs. I mean, it all eats me up, but that part kind of eats me up the most because, Arakawa and Gene Hackman gets a name. Does the German Shepherd get a name? Just Husky, the beloved. So, R.I.P. to Husky, the beloved. Both men told police they rarely saw the couple when conducting maintenance on the home, primarily communicated with the female homeowner. So 2 maintenance workers rarely saw either one of the 2, and they primarily just talked to Arakawa. But I guess, have they been doing maintenance for the last 2 weeks? Are they on the property? And then they hadn't seen them, move, drive in, drive out. They haven't said hello. 2 weeks? Don't that seem crazy? One of the couple's German Shepherds was also found dead less than 15 feet away from Arakawa in a closet, while the other 2 dogs were found alive in the bathroom near Arakawa and outside. So that means another dog was alive. According to the investigators inside the bathroom, the scene was suspicious enough to get a Let's see here. To get a warrant to search, front door open and unlocked. The maintenance, the guy who called it in, said he couldn't get into the house. If the front door was open and unlocked, how did he get into the house? A healthy dog running loose on the property. Another healthy dog found near Arakawa, the dead dog, and moved to heater found near the actor's wife. They cited an open pill bottle, scattered prescription pills. What kind of prescription pills? To me, if it's, prescription pills, people, it could be just bullshit pills that wouldn't lead to an overdose, pills that don't do anything. Next to Arakawa, as well as no obvious signs of a gas leak, Hackman being in a different room than his wife. They say they don't suspect foul play. Gas company confirms they provide service at the home. New Mexico Gas Company. They investigated things and they found no wrongdoing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. They investigated themselves. That always works out well for the person doing the investigation. Assisting the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department. The warrant says when law enforcement officials arrived at the home, the front door was open. All other buildings in the garage were locked. I'm going to try to figure this out by the end, okay? I mean, there's clearly, 4 options, right? It's either accidental, suicide, homicide from within, homicide from without. Actually, 5 options, or natural causes, which that seems unlikely. It seems like unlikely that it's natural causes. It would seem crazy if it was a homicide from outside, too. But let's see. According to the search, I'm just thinking Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is probably the most likely one, right? There are no immediate signs or indications of blunt force trauma. So nobody's beating them up, nobody's hitting them. And if only one door was open, it wasn't forced entry. I mean, maybe look around, to see if there's some sort of broken window. That maintenance worker, whatever, he called 911. What if he tried to get inside to think that maybe he could, hurry up, get inside and try to save him? But he's just looking in through a window. Hackman and Arakawa met at a California gym where she worked. According to a New York Times Magazine 1989-2000 article in the Irish Independent newspaper revealed more details about the reclusive couple. Arakawa often travels with Hackman, seems to share his sense of humor and his preference for a quiet life in the desert. Where we live in Santa Fe, he told the Irish paper, you could lead your own life and not be bothered by the latest gossip. Besides, a film actor doesn't have to live in L.A. Not that many movies are shot there anymore. Gene Hackman's granddaughter mourn his... Okay, so that's enough reading of the articles. Now let's try to make a conclusion. Let's try to make a conclusion. What could it be? What could it be? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make an educated guess. Is it an accident? It seemed like it was an accident to begin with. Is it natural causes? That seems unlikely because you had, 3 dead bodies. Accident, is it suicide? Let's think about that. And then a homicide from within and a homicide from without. Now, even though a homicide from without seems the most unlikely one, because we're going to scratch out natural causes. It's not natural causes. So it's either an accident, suicide, homicide from within, or a homicide from without. If it was a homicide from without, that seems fantastic, but it's not impossible. Right? It's not impossible. There's no forced entry, so maybe the person had known both of them, or maybe somebody just was able to do some things. It seems the most unlikely, so I'll say there's like a 10% chance of that. Occam's razor says the most obvious thing is probably what it is. So if they've been dead for 2 weeks, homicide from within, suicide, or an accident. You know what? I said natural causes for all 3, so maybe there's a different cause of death for each 3 now. I'm coming up with a different theory. I'm thinking Gene died of natural causes. He was old, right? 95. And then she had died of an overdose because she just lost the love of her life. So it's like a Romeo and Juliet. So he died of natural causes. She died of a suicide. And then the dog is going to die in the closet from starvation. That's what it sounds like to me. That sounds like the best guess that I got. Homicide from within. It doesn't seem like one of them could have killed the other one of the other ones unless somehow he had forced her to take pills, or she took pills, or give him pills. No, that's what I think happened. I think most likely, this is just me speculating, Occam's razor says the most obvious, the simplest explanation is probably correct. And so my guess is this: Gene Hackman died of natural causes. He was an old man, 95 years old. Arakawa was so distraught, so sad that the love of her life was now dead and gone, that she took some pills and died. And then because they were dead for 2 weeks, she didn't think about the dogs at all, just thinking about herself. And one dog was trapped in the closet, and then that dog is going to die of starvation. There. That's the leading theory for now, until we know the truth. That's not the truth. That's just the leading speculative theory. So, to be continued.